What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we're going to pick up pretty much where we left off in the last one. We are going to be gluing the seams and putting the rails in. There's some prep work that goes into that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and enjoy the video. So a couple of things about this. When you are cutting out rails, you have to be careful because the wood you're cutting them out of is really long, and the blade on the table saw is sticking up kind of out of the material. And so I'm using 2 push blocks, and my wife is helping by slowly feeding the board in from behind. If I had a nicer table saw or a larger in-feed and out-feed table, then I could maybe do this by myself, but given what I have and the tools that I have available, this really is a 2-person job. Oddly, that's why I don't feel comfortable with the idea of making a cedar strip kayak. I just don't feel like I have the setup to cut the strips properly and to get something good in the end. What I'm doing here is looking at all the places where the rail is hitting against things like those butt joints and things like that. Full-on threatening to rain, and looking at this front bulkhead, there's just the tiniest gap here in the side, and I feel like if I add a stitch higher up that I'll be able to get rid of that. And the thing about that is that in order to do that, I really need to cut out this bulkhead. The next thing I need to do is to trim these butt joint backer boards down so that the rail is cleared and can fit here in the sides of the boat. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3, 4 in the back that we've got to take care of. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score a line using a cutoff wheel, and then I will chisel out what remains. I don't know that the camera is going to capture this, but I mean, look at that face. How could you not love that face? So all in all, not a bad way to spend Thanksgiving. What I need to do now is go over the hull and patch any spots where a lot of resin is going to pour out when I go to glue the hull together. So what I'm doing here is I've just got a pencil and I'm marking out places where I can see gaps in the seam. Now I'm going to tape wax paper over all of those gaps that I marked out with the pencil. I'm using painter's tape, and that kind of holds the wax paper in place. I'm using wax paper for a couple of different reasons. First of all, the wax paper won't stick to the resin as easily. And second of all, because it provides a pretty decent barrier in terms of keeping the resin from dripping out the bottom of the boat. Next, I'm going to mix up some putty, and basically it's wood flour mixed with the resin, and that helps to thicken it up. The more wood flour you use, the more the resin stays in place. Now, looking at kind of how this stuff was flowing, I probably should have used a bit more wood flour, but what's nice about that is then it actually soaks into the wood, and it soaks in as it kind of seeps through the gaps and really helps to seal things up. So I originally applied the wood putty with a plastic bag with a hole cut inside, kind of like a baker would use for applying frosting, and then you go back over it and smear it around with a shaped piece of wood. Now, they do sell plastic kind of scrapers that are specifically shaped for different things, but I found that those are kind of a waste of money. Like, you spend money on them, you can use them a couple times, and then when you try to clean them, they just break. So using scrap wood that I shape on the bandsaw or with the sander seems to work much better, and I can throw that away and not feel bad about it. After that, I went back over all the seams with some 2-inch block tape. So that's fiberglass tape, and I'm just putting it on the seams. Some people fiberglass the entire inside of the boat, and I kind of feel like that's just going to add a whole lot more weight without adding a whole lot more waterproofing. If it means the difference between a boat lasting 10 years and a boat lasting 30 years, I kind of feel like in 10 years I'll make another one. And then the last thing that I do is mix up just a batch of resin and use a paintbrush and kind of press that into the cloth tape. That really helps to kind of solidify the whole thing, glue everything together, and really hold these seams and make everything nice and tight. Alright, beautiful people, that wraps it up for this video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, bye.